Hi guys, Herbalist40 here. First of all, welcome back. So I've got quite a lot planned for today's video. Going to be showing you guys quite a lot of cool stuff. I'm also going to be tying together quite a few connections I've made in previous videos. So for those of you who have been following me from pretty much the beginning, or those of you who've had the chance to catch up on what I've brought out so far, you're going to notice that a lot of things I'm talking about today are going to tie a lot of my previous findings together. Um, so anyway, without any further ado, I'm just going to get on with the video. Hopefully you'll get where I'm coming from. As usual, I do try to make it as simple and as to the point as I possibly can. But as we all know by now, it's not the easiest thing to do when it comes to GTA 5. Right, the first thing we're going to be talking about here is this particular picture of Franklin on top of this mountain where this cross is that you can see on the screen right now. Now, I brought this up in one of my previous videos and I said that to me this was representing Saturn. As far as I'm concerned, nothing has changed, but for me to approach a subject that I've been wanting to get to for a while now, which is geometry, or sacred geometry, um, I'm going to have to explain a little bit more as to why the cross symbol ties to Saturn, how it ties to Satanism and Luciferianism in general. First things first, the most common knowledge we have as human beings of the cross is automatically tied to Christianity and the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Now, there's a lot of misunderstandings going on about this particular subject, and I will help explain this with diagrams in just a moment. I have a couple of things to show you first, but just to get this in your minds, basically, Satan had Jesus put on a cross to be crucified in order to trick Christians into worshipping him. So that's basically the devil's whole deal, is to try and trick Christians, which I've mentioned before. So basically, by putting Jesus on the cross, once he'd passed, Christians would then wear the cross as if it were a symbol worshipping Christ, when in fact it's a symbol worshipping Satan, because he is the one who picked the symbol in particular versions of the story. But my point being here, and as I said, I will explain this with diagrams in just a second and some easy images to get through. But for now, I just want to focus your attention on Apple, the company. In particular, we're going to be looking at here the entrance to the Apple Store, which you can see on the screen now. And this is the entrance to the Apple Store on 5th Avenue, 5th, in New York. And as you all know, GTA does have its counterpart slash parody of Apple, which is obviously iFruit, which I'll bring up on the screen in just a second. But basically, the point being here is that this is quite controversial and also quite well known, but basically a lot of people accuse... It's not a question of accusation, it's a question of knowing how to read symbolism. But basically, apple here is representing the fruit with a bite taken out of it, which also connects to my conversations I had with you about Adam and Eve and the serpent bowl in Michael's house, etc. I'm sure you will know what I'm talking about. But the point again here is the fact that they're representing the forbidden fruit and a bite taken out of it, which represents again Adam and Eve, and around it a glass cube, which represents a prison. And some of you might be familiar with the movie Cube, and a lot of other film genres that have come out recently, or not quite so much recently, but in the past few years, that have been related to prisons and cubes, how they're all structured in different forms of glass cubes. And basically this is representing the fact that after the moment that Adam and Eve took a bite of the forbidden fruit, we've forever been trapped in a cube, a prison basically. And this is what's being represented here basically by Apple. It's kind of true as well in regards to what their company's about. It's once you go Apple, like, they try to keep you within their domain. Like, everything that goes with their equipment is also of their same brand, whereas with, for example, PC, a lot of the equipment comes from a multitude of different brands, whereas Apple tries to say the least, it tries to stay true to itself. But for now, I'm going to bring up the diagrams that I was talking about, and hopefully with these, we'll be able to make a little bit more sense of what I'm explaining to you now. Okay, so the best way I found to look at it was in the sense of a Rubik's Cube. And when you unfold a Rubik's Cube, it becomes a cross. Not just a Rubik's Cube, but any form of cube. If you wanted to make it out of paper, this would be the template that you would use. Now, what I'm getting at here is also confirmed by Rockstar, and I will show you this once I'm done explaining what I'm going on about now, in just a little screenshot, basically. But this is just opening a door to a very difficult and vast subject, which will eventually help us achieve what we're looking for. But here's the way to look at it. When Jesus was put on the cross and killed, he was relieved from the prison. He was free to go back to the heavens, back to his Father. So basically the symbolism behind Saturn, the Satanistic planet, and the cross being chosen is basically all representative of Jesus leaving the prison, which is Earth. Because obviously he was, in a sense, in a human form at that time. So the whole point here is to open your mind onto the factor of geometry and symbolism and astrology combined will be the solution to all our problems. I can guarantee it. These will be the keys that we need to solve the famous mystery we've all been after. This is just a little bit of insight as to what geometry can reveal to us in certain things we've been trying to understand. But I'm going to show you now how it does in fact relate to certain things that Rockstar has been trying to show us, in my opinion, in the game. And it kind of, you just got to picture it as it being, the cube is the game and the mystery within the game, and we're kind of trapped inside it. And that's why I picked the Rubik's Cube, is because it would basically allow us to visualize the kind of task we've got in front of us. If you imagine the first people confronted with a Rubik's Cube, they wouldn't have solved it just like that. It would have taken quite a bit of time and study to actually understand the mechanics and the calculations of actually getting it back into play. But I don't want to ramble on about it too much, because as I said, it is quite a complicated subject and it can get quite boring. But as far as the mystery goes, the point here for me is we're kind of looking at a Rubik's Cube that we need to open. And here, as you can see on the screen, is basically a mini arcade game that can be found in a few different areas within the game. And what's interesting about it is called Cube 3D, which would be basically is a duality of Rubik's Cube itself. And they're also basically symbolizing in this one arcade machine, and I believe it's the only one we can actually see. I don't think there's any others, but they're kind of symbolizing everything I've told you so far about Adam and Eve, about the cross, Satanism, the whole lot. I'm confirming it. And some of you aren't going to see this. Some of you are probably going to think, what the fuck is he talking about? I know a select few, those who have really listened to my previous videos, are going to see where all of this ties in. And I'll say again, for the moment, this is just a little eye-opener. That's it on the geometry for now though, guys. Next up, I want to talk about Franklin a little bit for the first time. Before we do, I'm just going to show you this little clip of Franklin and Tonya. And I'm just going to point out, Tonya does have red hair. That's an important thing. Here we go.
Alright, shit, where we going?
Trucks at the Davis Sheriff Impound.
Oh man, how did I get dragged into this?
We both know you always been sweet on me. Shit, Franklin Clinton.
Shit, your ass must be high or something.
I told you, I don't do that shit no more. I mean, I baby doze now and again just for the taste. But I'm doing good, boo. Your eyes don't lie.
Whatever you say, girl. Come on.
That was just something I wanted to document that I just noticed on my recent playthrough, something that I'd missed on my previous playthroughs. Um, but sticking to Franklin, this is another thing I want to discuss about the guy, and it's kind of got me bugging. Let's just say that. I'm gonna do a zoom in for you now of this particular scene, but this is a mission, or the end of a mission, more like, between Franklin and Lamar, or I can't remember exactly now. I'm speaking of it, but in fact, Simeon says that Franklin is Employee of the Month, and this gets Lamar a little bit upset. I'm sure most of you are going to remember this. It's a very early mission in the game. The reason I'm bringing it up is, as you can see on the picture right now, some elements are missing in the text. And the first one being Premium Deluxe Motorsports, the I is missing and the T is tilting to one side. I've said this before and I'm going to keep on saying it. Rockstar is a multi-billion-dollar company. They do not make stupid mistakes for no reason. They have a lot of resources and they had a lot of people work on this project with them for more than 5 years. They may have taken 5 years to develop the game itself, but Rockstar has been playing off its previous games from the word go. So therefore you have to understand that it's taken probably more than a decade to achieve the mystery or the Easter egg that they're presenting to us now. Because again, yes, I do believe there is a mystery to unfold. But sticking to the facts here, I haven't done the anagrams for this right now. I haven't looked to see what the sentences could make if we switch the letters around. What I'm focused on is Employee of the Month. As you can see, it's written in gold, and it's missing the N, which basically transforms the sentence into Employee of the Moth. So the moth, I'm just going to say right off the bat, is connected to Satan and Plague and Pestilence, and as well, I didn't bother to bring the picture up now, but for those of you who saw my Rockstar wallpaper video, you'll know that in the Decay wallpaper there was a moth hidden within it with a skull on its back. So yet another link of Rockstar pointing out that the moth is linked to evil things. And I'm going to point out as well that in this particular picture of Franklin as Employee of the Month in Simeon's office, if I forgot to mention that, I'm not too sure, he's wearing a red shirt. Franklin is always in blue. Always. Now, why the fuck have they put him, sorry, excuse my language, but why the fuck, again, have they put him in red here? They're not idiots, they don't make mistakes for no fucking reason, and no matter how I look at it, I can't actually explain this right now. There's some very strange things that are starting to reveal themselves to me during my playthrough at the moment, so I've got a hell of a lot of things to show you guys over the next couple of weeks. If I've got the time to even include all of my findings into a video, but anyway, that's kind of besides the point. This is very interesting, very intriguing. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, but kind of moving on. After this mission is when he sends you to Michael's house to repo the car off Jimmy. Now, Jimmy is not really in the equation. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, Michael is in the back of the car when Franklin repos the yellow car. And Michael has Franklin crash the car into Simeon's office. So that basically cuts the link off between Franklin and Simeon. And this is why, as you're going to see in the next picture, Simeon chooses to change the board from Franklin back to himself. And it's done automatically. Okay, so here we go, guys. This is Simeon's replacement of Franklin's Employee of the Month, and I'm just going to jump straight into my 3 zooms that I've done for you. Top left corner, this is a cutout of Simeon's eyes in Rockstar's artwork pictures, and to the right top hand corner is a cutout of Simeon's eyes in the actual game, as if you were standing right in front of him. And to the bottom is a zoom in of his eyes on the board. And this is another thing that's really bugging me. I can't quite explain it. I'm not going to spend half an hour debating on how I found this or what I think it could be or couldn't be. I'm just going to say, and you can contradict it as much as you want. You can go and check him out in game. You can check out all the wallpapers, the whatever. His right eye in this particular image, as I've zoomed in on at the bottom of the screen here, is different. Now, the first thing that's different is it's a lot darker, as you can see in both of the top pictures. Both the left and right eye look quite dark. Whereas in this one, it's the right eye, which is, well, his left eye actually, sorry, which is quite dark and surrounded by some sort of a little scar. And I'm going to point out that in this picture, and only in this picture that I've seen so far, it looks like he's almost got a glass eye. And it's not even the same colour. In all the artwork, all the pictures I've seen, his eyes are both dark coloured. This one is a kind of grey, light blue coloured eye. Now again, there's not much sense that I can make out of it, but all I'm going to back this up with is Rockstar do not make stupid mistakes. They don't do it. There's a reason for all of this, and hopefully you guys can help me out a little bit. If you know people who are invested in the mystery, I urge you to share my videos with them if you feel what I'm saying, so that we can help get a few more opinions on this. So I'm not relying on you to do my work for me, but if any of you feel the need, or wouldn't mind sharing the video or putting it out there just to, I don't know, in a sense gain some time, because the more opinions we're going to get on certain things, the better it's going to become in the long run. And as well, there's going to be a lot of new hunters, people who don't really know what the fuck they're talking about, and that's not a problem. Well, it's not one for me at least. Like, I'm willing to move past that. But at the end of the day, as I said, I'm not losing motivation here. I'm just looking for ways to push it a little bit further. But anyway, these are the things that I really wanted to point out as far as my findings go. And for the next subject, I'm just going to play you the clip and you can compare for yourself. I've got the dude's clip up. I'll put his description, or his channel in the description below, so you can go and check out his full video if you want to do that. I can't remember his name right now. It'll all be in the description below. But basically, I'm just going to play you this next clip of the karma sound. A lot of you have probably seen it. A lot of you probably haven't. But basically, some guy said he'd found the karma sound. Now I'm going to play you a clip, and the clip of me is in the plane, and I recorded the sound, like I heard it, and to be honest, all I was doing was cruising through the sky, and that's like a 98% completed game file, where I made no effort with Franklin. I was playing with Franklin as well. I'll precise that. I made no effort whatsoever to do a karma playthrough. That save file that I'm showing you in just a second is probably the worst save file I've got. Like, I've butchered everyone. I've fucked up a lot of things. It is in no way, shape or form a good karma video, and I didn't do anything but fly a plane through the sky, and I've been flying for quite a while. So I will say, if you guys need me to point it out to you and put the video of what I was doing before that up to confirm what I'm saying now, I will. But you can just take my word for it. I wasn't doing anything, and yet here's the sound. I don't know why it came up. I'm not saying the sound is nothing. I'm saying, as far as I'm concerned, it is absolutely not karma related. I don't see how it could be with the way it came up here. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to show you the clip of me in the plane and the karma sound, and straight after that I'm going to show you the other dude's video and his karma sound. And as I said, dude, if you're checking out my video, I'll put your channel and link in the description. I'll probably put a little capture on the screen so they can see who you are. And yeah, basically that's it.
Sure, here it comes. Can you hear it?
Okay guys, so there we have it. That was pretty much all I wanted to pack into today's video. I hope you all enjoyed the content. Now, if some of you are new viewers, I'm really sorry if it was a bit tricky, a bit complicated, and maybe a bit irrelevant, but go check out some of my previous videos, give me another chance. You never know, you might find something interesting. I do try to include new stuff every time. But anyway, with that being said, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for subscribing, liking, commenting, and all the other stuff that you guys do for me. But anyway, as usual, take it easy and see ya.